Welcome back, viewers, to LBS Responds To episode number 82. So yes, welcome back everyone to another episode of the weekly Q&A series I do here on my channel. I've been doing this for over 3 years now. I basically take any of your guys' questions involving Lego, Star Wars, or personal life, and pretty much anything you guys want to know about me. I answer your questions that you guys leave down below. This week I've got 16 questions. I want to make this a little bit of a longer one, and I picked out 16 really good questions I feel, and this should make for a very good episode. If your question is not answered in today's video, be sure to leave it down below in the comment section, and there's a chance I will answer it next week. And without further ado, guys, let's get into the questions. Starting off, guys, with Muller1305. He says, do you think Lego will ever make the Inquisitor's Fortress from Kenobi in the same scale as the Darth Vader's castle? Also love that these are going back to being weekly. I appreciate all the support, man, and yes, this will be a weekly series for at least the end of the year, if not going into next year. So basically, to answer your question, man, is I think it is a strong possibility. I will not doubt that possibly actually as early as 2023 summer, just like the Darth Vader castle came out in 2019, kind of a surprise set. No one was rumoring it. It was basically not being talked about, and out of nowhere, it just got revealed on Amazon.com. And I have a feeling there's definitely a chance. I'd give it maybe a 25% chance we will see that happen to the Fortress Inquisitorius in 2023, possibly August, September, October. And I would not doubt it might actually be a Amazon exclusive again. I think with it being from Kenobi and the Jedi Fallen Order game, and with the fact they just made the BD1 buildable character from Jedi Fallen Order itself, and Kenobi was pretty relevant. And now as we know, Lego is kind of delayed on a few of their sets. Usually there's not too many times they have the sets ready for the show or the movie. And I think about a year later for a Kenobi set definitely would not be out of Lego's possibilities. And yeah, I would put maybe a 25% chance on that, man. Alright guys, moving on to Sculpted. He says, do you think Lego will do a similar thing that they're doing in the new 501st Battle Pack in 2023, where they put all of one classes of a division, or do you think that'll be a one-off thing? So, yes, I see where you're coming from, man, and it's basically the fact of, 501st, new Battle Pack will have a, commander, a heavy trooper, a sniper, pretty much like Battlefront level classes, if you get what I'm saying. So, I do not think we'll be seeing that too much more often. I definitely think the 501st is an exception to that, just due to the fact, Lego saw how many people wanted the 501st Battle Pack. Of course, they had to have seen the sales of the 501st Battle Pack over the past 2.5 years. I really just think they're fully capitalizing on it. I think, the 501st Battle Pack, is probably their hottest seller Lego Star Wars set ever, if not actual Lego set as a whole. And I think to really capitalize on it, make more people go back out there and, add to their 501st army, since, that's really what I feel like they're doing with it. I don't feel like we'll ever really see the 501st in a real set for a while. I feel like they're really trying to, push other legions in a bigger set. So I think it will be at least a while. I think it will take at least 2, 3, 4 years before we see anything like that again. But I'm actually very surprised they're even doing it to begin with. But I got to give Lego credit. I think it's definitely one of those things where they're taking advantage of it. And at least in my opinion, I'm not really too mad they are. Alright guys, next up we got Jit right here. He says, do you think we'll be seeing any more plain clone troopers with them being featured recently in the Andor TV show? So actually, at least as of episode 6, I've not seen any clone troopers yet. They are in the trailer, for 2 different scenes that we know of at least. We're not too sure if they'll be in an entire episode, entire arc. Is it a flashback? Is it current day? I have a bad feeling it'll probably just be like a quick little flashback, maybe a 30-second scene of them, taking over a planet back, when the Republic first turned to the Empire. But I think nonetheless, guys, I think plain clone troopers, whether they're in Andor or not, should be coming here pretty soon. I think out of every clone trooper, we can all agree, plain clone troopers should just be a staple from Lego. I think, of course, it's what everyone wants the most. I think, quite frankly, if we could go back and do the 501st Battle Pack again, I think, at least in my opinion, I think more of us would want a regular plain Phase 2 Clone Trooper Battle Pack over a 501st even. I think it's just so versatile. You guys could literally just do as much as just change out the arms, change out white arms, put blue arms, put orange arms, and technically make different legions at that point. Where I definitely think the Phase 2 white clone trooper should be pretty soon. I think whether it's the accessory packs or just a regular $20 battle pack, I see no reason why Lego will not be putting these guys in a set anytime soon, especially when it looks like, again, they're putting different colored legions in, bigger sets, ATTE, fighter tank, possibly a gunship remake. I definitely think any Phase white clone should definitely be a cheaper alternative than being a battle pack or accessory pack. Alright guys, moving on to Jake's Golf. He says, I really want a Cloud City Boba Fett. Do you think it's ever going to come back down in price, or should I just close my eyes and get it now? Been thinking the same about the OG Django. So, with the OG Django, I definitely think get it now. I think it's, still a low enough price. Sure, it's pretty high. It's, in the $400 or $500 dollar mark right now, but I think it's still a low enough price where there's plenty of room for it to actually grow eventually. again, it's all about supply and demand. Really, how long will it take to get up to $1,000? It all really depends on how many people are buying it up, and how many new collectors are coming in that really care about that older stuff. The one positive about it, though, is you got to think about it. There's always going to be new people on a daily basis that want to, start collecting Lego Star Wars, that want to go back and get one of every Star Wars minifigure. That's why, some of the old versions of these minifigures still hold a premium because they're rare to begin with, and there's still a lot of new people that want to go back and get them. So I think the OG Django, I definitely would say I would just buy it now. Again, worst comes to worst, at some point maybe you'll find something that's maybe 20, 30 bucks cheaper. Not too bad in my opinion, but when you compare it to like Cloud City Boba Fett, I would definitely shop around a little bit. The market's been kind of fluctuating on that, but in the grand scheme of things, it has been going up a little bit. I personally paid about $1,700 for mine in brand new condition, and the next one that is like certified brand new condition on the market right now is roughly about $2,500. But if you don't really care too much about brand new condition and just want to get a good condition used one, I would pay, shop around a little bit and probably not pay more than about $2,000 for it. But if you don't care about cracks and little dings and everything like that, you could literally get a Cloud City Boba Fett for as cheap as like $1,200. So I hate to say that $1,200 is cheap, but for what it is, it really depends on what you want your condition to be like. One really quick thing I'll say right now is I guess maybe right now might be the time. If we're going through a little recession right now, a lot of people are trying to get money, scrounging up extra money, not trying to spend too much. Although it could be kind of a double negative though, where some of these sellers might be asking for a little bit more since they need more money themselves. But I'd give it maybe a month or two right now. I think before end of like January 2023, just keep your eyes on the market. If you could find a really good condition one for like $1,600 or less, that is the price I recommending instantly snagging it with. If not, by like say January 30th of next year, I would just pick it up. It's just my recommendations. I'm not a financial advisor, but that is my answer to that, man. Alright guys, moving on to Alexander. He says, since we seem to know what LEGO Star Wars busts we are getting for 2023, which ones would you like to see be made? I'd love to see a Death Trooper and a Shore Trooper. Those are two really good ideas. I personally would probably rather see a Death Trooper over those two. But I think personally, my number one pick right now, again, I'm a prequel guy. I think we're already getting Cody and, Phase 2 Captain Rex. So I'm not going to say those. I think any other Clone Trooper I would love, especially if they do it right. I think, going away from Clone Troopers, I think a Jango Fett is my number one right now. I would pay 60, 70 bucks for a Jango Fett all day. I'd be there day one. I'm a prequel guy. I think personally they have the Mandalorian helmet design pretty knocked out of the park, when it comes to, the little $60 bust sets, and it'll go really well with Boba Fett. So I think Jango Fett is my number one personally. Alright guys, moving on to Keith Crane. He says, what are your biggest mistakes / regrets you've made but have learned from in selling Lego on your Bricklink store? So I think number one thing I probably regret in that regard is not selling used pieces sooner. So for a long time there, I was a big, kind of hater against selling used pieces. I just didn't really want to have to do the hassle with it. And, I didn't really see a market in there. A lot of times, used condition parts go for less than new condition. But I feel like really my biggest regret was not doing that sooner, because when I started doing that in 2021, buying used lots and selling some of my old collection and just overall looking for used condition stuff for a good deal, it really helped my store out a lot. I found a Bionicle lot back in January 2021 where I turned a $40 bulk lot into over $1,200 worth of stuff just because I took a gamble on it. It seemed like a very good deal for 40 bucks. I knew some Bionicle parts were worth a lot, and of course those were used condition pieces. I washed everything and I made sure everything was clean. I didn't sell anything damaged, but I made a lot of money doing so. And since then, I've been able to find quite a few other used lots on Facebook Marketplace or eBay where that used market is definitely pretty crazy, because a lot of times there's only so much stuff you guys can get new. Getting new parts are only out of new sets on the shelf right now, but anything literally 2018 or beforehand is more than likely gonna have to be used, and there's a big market for that type of stuff. And I feel like that's one regret that I kind of have, not getting into the used market sooner, back when it was easier to get bulk lots. But it took me about 7 years to learn to get into it, but it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor now, since there's a lot of money to be made there, man. Next up, guys, we got 5D Aaron Fox right here. He says, what are your thoughts on custom figures? Not like CAC or Republic Bricks clones, but higher end brands that have figures that have resale value over 300, like Baggles, Rebels, Epilogue, Ahsoka. Do you think the resale market on custom figures is toxic? I personally don't think it's toxic. I think it really all just comes down to what you have money for. There's really no way in the world right now I'm even financially able to spend that money on some of those figures, let alone really care to. I don't think there's a bad spot for them in the community. I think, everyone's got their own, stuff they like. Everyone's got their own price point they can afford. Everyone, likes different, kind of qualities. Some people are fine with paying 20 bucks for a cheaper quality than paying 200 bucks for a more expensive quality. I have no problem with it, but personally, I don't see myself spending my money on that type of, $300 figure stuff. Even Anakin stuff, I'm a big Anakin guy, and personally, again, I'm fine for what it's worth. I think the best Anakin I've ever really seen, even for like a reasonable price, is the Palpatine's Arrest, official Anakin. But I see there's no problem with that type of stuff, I feel. And if I ever win win the lottery, I will go ahead and spend $300 on a Baggles minifigure. But for now, I'm keeping my minifigure limit to about probably, for official figures, you know, way more, but for custom figures, maybe 40 or 50 bucks personally. Next up, guys, we have Luke Taylor. He says, what do you think LEGO will release for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith in 2025? And I'll be the first one to say I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. So, you know, LEGO definitely drops the ball when it comes to a lot of these anniversary things. They had a pretty good year of, you know, 20th anniversary for LEGO Star Wars stuff, but, you know, they kind of dropped the ball on Attack of the Clone stuff, you know, Phantom Menace stuff. You know, I feel like they don't really pay attention to that anymore unless it's like Empire Strikes Back. You know, they celebrate every 2 years of, you know, Empire Strikes Back. But for 2025, I think the biggest thing I can ask for, there's probably two things here, is a remake of the Ultimate Space Battle, set number 7283. I think that'd be very cool. You know, remake it, maybe make it an $80 set. You'll get a nice little remake of both those interceptors and, you know, a nice tri-droid, a couple Vulture droids, and just make it a fun set. I think that's probably the most, like, classic and just overall episode 3 orientated set you can really ask for, you know, remake wise. But other than that, I think personally, if they were to do something with light up minifigures again, whether it's a May 4th promo, whether, you know, they come in sets like the 20th anniversary minifigures did, or, you know, just one set in particular, just, you know, like the Turbo Tank, like just had Mace Windu in it. Like, I feel like that type of stuff, you know, a light up minifigure, at least one of them in 2025 would be pretty cool, since, you know, of course, the Revenge of the Sith line is when they first did that back in the day. And yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I think those are my only two asks for it. But nonetheless, I feel like they'll at least release at least 1 or 2 episode 3 sets, but probably not anything that we're going to go too crazy about, like we hope we would. Next up, guys, we have Viking Bricks right here. He says, what is the best LEGO investment you have ever made, both financially and personally? So I think financially, probably the TIE Fighter pilot helmet. Again, we have to keep in mind, I only started investing in LEGO back in 2019, so there's not really been too much room for me to truly make too much ROI and sell on it yet. You know, I'm just kind of starting out myself. I've got a pretty big backlog of investment sets, but I've not really been able to take action and sell too many yet. But for the TIE Fighter pilot helmet sets, I bought, I think, 7 of them back in, you know, Target 2021 Black Friday for $30 each. I built one of them, of course. I kept 6 sealed. I've got 1 left right now, but I sold the other 5. I sold 4 of them for $175 each, and then I sold 1 at Brick World Chicago for $200 cash. So that financially, so far, that is my best one, of course. I wish I would have bought, you know, literally 30 of those things, because even if, you know, $30 into even the low end of like 140, I mean, that is literally still, what's that, like 400%ing your money right there. So in such a short amount of time too. It was literally only a, you know, thinking about when I sold those, that was literally only like a 6-month investment, you know, of having them sit on the shelf. And I definitely would have bought more of those. But I think personally though, one of my favorites is these Nebulon B frigates up here. I'm not too sure if you guys can see them, but I bought 6 of them, and I just might as well I did. You know, I regretted not getting more of the Darth Vader bust and a few of those other ones and the Bestman Duel. So I said to myself, look, I'm going to get as many as I can for the Nebulon B frigate. And even though they've not really been the best financially, I feel like a lot of people got them. It's, you know, like a $40 set into about $110 right now. I'm just really glad I have 6 of them right now. I think it's a really cool, kind of subtle flex. You know, if they ever go up, you know, super crazy in the future, I have 6 of them, and that's something I'm definitely proud of. All right, next up, guys, we got Z. Joel Smolders right here. He says, I got a Chrome Vader a few months ago sealed for €140. It came and I noticed that the figure's cracked inside of the bag under its arm. You know, the figure comes half assembled. Do you think it devalues it by a lot? So the first thing is, you know, if you're keeping it for yourself, no one really ever has to know. You know what I mean? To the public eye, you know, you have a sealed Chrome Vader. You know, there's nothing you could do about it. You never opened it. It's not a used minifigure. It's still brand new condition technically. You know, whatever happened to it, you know, LEGO did. And also you could say, look, if you ever go to sell it or try to resell it, again, you could take it one of 2 ways. I always recommend being the more truthful way, again, in case they open it up and see it and realize it's correct, you know, they could blame you, is, you know, either tell the truth or not tell the truth. I think if you tell the truth, of course, you know, it'll devalue it a little bit. But I think realistically, it probably just has to do with the just the actual mold of it, and it's probably just a mold line, if I'm being honest. It's probably not a crack, but I guess it's really up to you if you want to be truthful about it or not. I think if you want to be truthful, it probably does devalue it, you know, at least 10-20%. I don't doubt, you know, just because if someone else knows it's cracked inside, again, they could always tell themselves if they're never going to open it, it's still a sealed Chrome Vader nonetheless. It really comes down to the fact, if a buyer is going to open it eventually, it's definitely going to be a problem, I feel. You know, it's definitely going to be an actual problem, devalued a little bit if, you know, you're a future buyer or if you ever plan to open it. Because, you know, a sealed Chrome Vader is a sealed Chrome Vader at the end of the day. You know, literally, I mean, you did nothing to it. You didn't open it. You didn't ruin it yourself. So there's my thoughts on that. Next up, guys, we have Lego with Alex. He says, what do your friends think about your Lego collection? And this is kind of a long answer. Of course, I've been collecting Lego for like 15 years now. So, you know, back in the day, it was way different. So I think I'll start this answer when I went into 7th grade when I transferred schools. My parents got divorced and pretty much went to a whole entire new town, whole entire new group of people. And at that point, no one knew. I tried to keep it hidden for as long as possible. Come freshman year of high school, my core friends, I told them, they were all fine with it. They were 100% chill with it. I was very grateful for that. And then by the end of freshman year, again, a lot of people knew me. I knew a lot of people. I was quote unquote, if you want to say the word popular, I guess. So, by that point, a lot of people just kind of naturally knew since I was telling more people. Because at that point, and it really helped me in the regard of it was my business and my job at that point. Being only 15 years old and having no bills, no responsibilities, making a little bit of money off of a monetized YouTube channel and Bricklink store definitely helped. I think I can confidently say, and this is no flex or anything, but I can confidently say I was probably making the most money out of anyone in my grade, let alone freshman, sophomore, junior even, during those times. And that definitely helped me because people didn't really look at it as just like a little, kid collection, hobby thing. And the people were looking at it more of okay, this was my job, this was my business, I was making money from it. And they were just happy for me with that. They're like, damn, you're doing you're making good money on it, you're able to buy, Yeezys, Gucci slides, all the stupid stuff back then the kids would buy. And that definitely helped me out. And pretty much by the time sophomore year came by, it was just a known thing. My principals knew about it. My principals would ask me how my channel's doing. My teachers would know about it. People would be playing my YouTube videos on the TVs and the projectors in the school. And I'll be straight up and say I was very fortunate because throughout my entire high school career, when you would think, hey, look, you might get bullied for it, somebody might hate on you. Come junior year, there was only one guy that ever gave me a little bit of shit for it, but that guy got obliterated by everyone else. Literally, that guy didn't stand a chance, you know what I mean? He said a couple stupid things to me, and that guy got knocked off the face of the earth after that pretty much because, again, everyone respected it. Literally, every single person in my school knew about it. Everyone respected it, and even current day right now. So, of course, it's kind of the same stuff. Everyone still knows about it. I did not go to college. I've not really met too many new people, I'd say, but, everyone in my life right now knows about it, and no one cares. Absolutely nobody cares. Because again, it is my job right now. It's my hustle. I'm making money off of it, just like everyone else is trying to do right now. They're trying to make money, get a career going, and that's what I'm doing. And everyone's fine with it. Some people still check in, how you doing? And I actually had a few friends back in the day work for me pretty much. So it was all good. I'm very fortunate about everything that. I've not really ever gotten bullied about it. Really, I was able to live my life and just live it freely and tell people what I was doing and not have to hide anything. So very fortunate. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Next up, guys, we have Just Some Random. He says, in your opinion, what is the most underrated LEGO set from any franchise? And if we're going non-Star Wars right here, I think I would have to go maybe UCS Tumbler. I think I don't really see that many people other than DC fans really getting that set. And you guys know me, I'm a big Tumbler guy. I've got a whole bunch of Tumblers. I'll pull up the picture right now. And I think the UCS Tumbler, the new one from 2021, that is, I think, what, $250 now? Such a great deal. That set is beautiful, so well built. It looks immaculate on the shelf. And I recommend it for literally anyone. Anyone that's not even a DC fan, not even a fan of vehicles. You will be amazed by how good that set looks on the shelf. So I think right now, without really going into too much thinking about it, I think UCS Tumbler is definitely a set that I feel like not a lot of people have, that I think should have it. Next up, guys, we got Art Minion Onaka right here, and he says, will we get a new Hondo Onaka minifigure, or should I buy it now before it goes up more? So I've kind of stated this in a few other videos and a few other points, and in my opinion, I think at some point we will get another Hondo Onaka, but the thing is, I think it will be based off an older version of himself, whether it's from Rebels or a different time period after Rebels, where he's in an entirely different outfit, entirely new print compared to the Clone Wars one. I don't think we'll ever see another Clone Wars, based one. So the one from 2009 will definitely always stay pretty unique, and of course if we get a new one, it'll bring the old one down a little bit, but I think the old one is definitely rare enough now where we'll never really see it drop too much more. I think it's about a $50 minifigure right now, and again, same thing as always, I recommend picking it up now, since again, worst comes to worst, a new one comes out and the old one drops $5-10, and it's realistically, by the time the new one comes out, you would have enjoyed that minifigure enough to justify, hey, maybe 2 years down the line you could say, damn, I overspent $10. But did you really though, since you got to display it for 2 more years than you would have otherwise? And again, counting for inflation and just everything else going on, when you're talking about a little $5-10 differences like that, I recommend just buying it now. But again, as always, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. That's just my humble opinion. Next up, guys, we got Collector Empire _KM. He says, so I've heard you talk about current Mustangs and cars, but what is your favorite classic car from 1999 and before? And that's a pretty simple answer in my regard. It still involves Mustangs, just like a classic 1968 Mustang GT Fastback. I think these cars are absolutely beautiful, an all-black spec. I'll throw up a picture of the one I'm talking about. This is definitely something where I would drive these today, honestly. If I could get a good deal on it, I would always go modern over classic. That's just my opinion. I think modern brings a lot to the table, but I think the old stuff, there are a few things that look really cool. Or say you're just going out on a nice cruise or just really chilling, you know, maybe not on going on a road trip, but just going down the street to your local ice cream shop. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of, you know, classic cars that I would not mind driving down there myself. But yeah, 68 fastback, that's definitely something where if I could have, you know, say a dream 10-car garage, that would be one of those 10 cars. Next up, guys, we have Nomad X7. He says, do you keep all of your minifig collection in individual bags or do you expose them? So actually, as I'm talking about this, I'll kind of show everywhere I have minifigures. And basically at this point, short answer, at this point, I've got minifigures everywhere. I've got minifigures in cases, I've got them in bags, I've got them in display cases. You know, I've got them on the table in front of me, I've got them on the desk in front of me, I've got them on the shelves behind me, I've got them in bags and bins, I've got them on the mock, I've got them literally all over the place, I'm not kidding. So I'll throw up a few pictures and a few videos of kind of where I have them, but at this point, they're basically everywhere. I try to, of course, protect them as much as possible. I'm very fortunate I'm down in a basement that is completely blocked from sunlight, so it doesn't really matter too much if they're exposed or not per se, since you know, there's no chance of sunlight coming in, you know, on them. But yeah, I think short answer, they're kind of all over the place. Eventually, though, I'd love to be able to get them all in, you know, glass display cases, nice and organized, and protect them that way. But there's that. So last up, guys, we got X-Ray Style. He says, have you ever played Pokemon? If so, what is your favorite Pokemon? So yes, I've been playing Pokemon since 2007 when Diamond and Pearl came out. I got Pokemon Diamond for my birthday, same with a DS. I would play it every single day on the bus, and I used to collect Pokemon cards back in the day. And yeah, I'm a pretty big Pokemon fan, I gotta say. I think the newer stuff I don't really get into as much. I would much rather play basically anything from 99 to, what, I mean, Black and White 2, so what's that, like 2014, I think? So, you know, so I think that era right there, you know, generations 1 through 5 are the absolute best. My overall favorite generation, though, Generation 4, of course, and my favorite Pokemon ever is Infernape. So, you know, I picked Chimchar as my first Pokemon back in 2007, and ever since then, I absolutely love Infernape, and I've got, you know, all the Pokemon cards of them. I've got posters of them. I want to eventually try to make a Lego version of them, and Infernape is definitely my number one. But that is all the questions for the video, guys. So yes, guys, as promised, I wanted to bring you guys a very long Q&A episode. A lot of comments over the past couple weeks saying, hey, look, I would not mind watching a longer form Q&A video. You know, I like putting these on in the background. I like hearing your answers in more detail. And yeah, that's probably what I'll start doing. I might start making these all, you know, 15, 20 minutes long. This one's going to be probably, like I said, about 30 minutes long. 16 very good questions. I really did like all those questions. And again, if your question was unanswered in this video, leave it down below for next week. And again, I think I'll go back to maybe picking 10 or 12. And yeah, leave your questions down below of anything. Like I said, Lego related, Star Wars related, personal life related. I do not care. There's very few questions off the table. And we'll go from there, guys. So thank you guys all so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's video and the next LBS Responds To. See you guys all then. Bye, guys, and stay safe.